The sun dips behind a ridge of mossy boulders, casting long shadows across the camp. Smoke curls lazily from a fire pit surrounded by river stones and questionable cooking decisions. The scent in the air, burnt tubers, overcooked marmot, and just a hint of panic. A tribe of early humans, exhausted, underfed, and dressed like the clearance bin at a fur market, sits in a loose circle. In the center, a woman slumps forward, equal parts pride and please let this be over, cradling a howling newborn that sounds like it's already mad at taxes. The group leans in. Then, someone clears their throat and asks the question no Paleolithic parent is ever ready for. Sooo, what are you gonna name it? Welcome to one of the oldest social minefields in human history. Naming your baby while the entire village watches and silently ranks your creativity, no pressure. Let's rewind a bit, shall we? You're a Paleolithic parent. You've just survived childbirth with nothing but grit, instinct, and a handful of pine sap. No epidural, no hospital bed, no soothing playlist called womb vibes. Just moss, rocks, and the faint hope the shaman with beetle pouches knows what he's doing. The baby's crying, you're crying, your partner's holding a damp fur like it's going to help, someone's burning herbs that smell like feet and panic, and now, somehow, you're expected to name this baby. Not squishy, a real name, one that'll last through mammoth stampedes and puberty. A name that tells a story. Spoiler alert, there are no baby name books. No 1001 gender-neutral names inspired by wind. No online quiz for your spiritual naming alignment. No TikTok moms naming their kid Quartzin while sipping fermented pine needle milk under a filtered sunrise. Just you, your partner, a circle of tired hunter-gatherers, and a smelly elder named after a tree who claims to speak fluent owl. And then, silence. 20 people. All of whom watched you throw up beetles and scream through contractions, are staring at you, waiting for you to say something cool. No pressure. And let's clear something up. Cavemen didn't just grunt and call their kid up. They were human, complicated, sentimental, possibly dramatic. Even before writing, humans had rich oral traditions. They told stories. They remembered. They passed knowledge using voice, firelight, and one heck of a memory. In that world, names mattered. They weren't just sounds. They were identity, intention, a kind of spoken contract that said, this is who you are, forever, or at least until someone starts calling you something worse. Names were functional, symbolic, reputation in 3 syllables or less. And here's the science. Archaeological linguists, yes, that's a thing, and no, they don't all wear fedoras, believe early humans had structured naming systems, even in tiny groups of 30 to 40 people. Because when you're all sharing one fire and someone yells grunt and 3 heads turn, that's a problem. So they got creative, or at least more specific. Early names had meaning tied to what mattered most, survival. In a world where you could freeze, starve, get trampled, or sneeze yourself into a bear attack, names weren't cute. They were tools, like spears, or flint knives, or knowing which mushrooms were spicy and which ones murdered you from the inside out. You might be named after your grand entrance, born at storm, sunrise whaler, snow came eerily. Maybe your physical traits, big eyes, hair like bear, little foot. Your vibe? Always hungry, silent one, throws fits. Maybe eats bugs. He did, we saw it, he made eye contact. Or your chaotic arrival, mammoth was near, river flooded, oops. Names were survival snapshots, identity with bite. Hi, I'm Rock Hitter, son of Bone Scraper. That's my mate, Antelope Faster. Over there, that's Uncle Fell in Fire, don't ask. You didn't name your kid to be trendy. You named them so they wouldn't be mistaken for moss or get eaten by something that runs faster than regret. A decent name made people remember. A great one made them respect, or at least not snort laugh at the next mammoth roast. And naming wasn't a solo gig. It was a full tribal committee meeting with judgmental side eye. You weren't just naming a baby, you were branding a future hunter, a fire tender, a cave sitter, a potential spouse for someone's niece. And the tribe had opinions. If Auntie Sharptongue thought your name choice was soft, she'd announce it publicly. While chewing root stew, you suggest leaf, peaceful, earthy. The shaman snorts, like the thing that falls off and rots. Back to the drawing board. Someone yells, strong leg. Another chimes in with, looks like uncle, which raises new concerns. While you're standing there with a squalling newborn wondering if unnamed is legally binding, meanwhile someone's dog is chewing a mammoth toe. Prehistoric parents walked so modern parenting forums could run, just with fewer screenshots and more unfiltered critiques from a guy who thinks ghosts live in mushrooms. Trends came and went. Maybe one season it's all river names. Stream child, born by water, little brook. Then the river floods, sweeps away half the camp, and drowns the shaman's lucky log. Boom, new trend, now it's dry hill, far from water. Fashion is pain. Humans adapted. Even their naming aesthetics pivoted hard. Still, some names stuck. Lineages formed. You started with wolf, sight-wise and sharp. Then came wolf-irrita tracker, always listening. Then almost wolves, sensitive, asthmatic, probably allergic to fur. These weren't just names, they were sequels. Name, Tribal Edition. Name 2, Cave Baby Rises. So if you think Jackson, meaning son of Jack, is modern, please. We've been recycling syllables since the Ice Age. Let's talk sibling names. Today you might meet Ethan Emma in Everest, clean, coordinated, like a limited edition soap trio from a boutique forest shop. Then there's Moon, Dave, and Banjo, which honestly sounds like a band that only plays on mountaintops during lunar eclipses. But early humans weren't going for brand cohesion. Sibling names had jobs to do. Birth order. First son, second girl, another noon, seasonal, snow daughter, spring boy, rain loudly. Just vibes, quiet loud definitely eats bugs. This wasn't just cave bookkeeping, it was foreshadowing. Hunter's son had expectations. Tree climber had liabilities. It's a lot. That one wrote itself by breakfast. Names shaped identity, who you were, who others thought you'd become. And once they stuck, sometimes longer than your front teeth. Modern life still echoes this, with childhood nicknames that follow us into adulthood and every uncomfortable family reunion. Calling your kid Runs Weird wasn't bullying, it was early branding, prehistoric, and about gender, naming didn't follow rigid binary rules. In many tribes, roles were fluid, so were names. A girl might be spear thrower, a boy, berry kick knowing. Nobody blinked. If you were good at it, you got named for it. Today we call that progressive. Back then, it was just efficient. If you saved the group from a leopard, nobody paused to ask about your chromosomes. They just said put leopard in their name, stat. And yes, nicknames. You might start as childborn at sunset during Bice Charge. By age 5, just charge. By 13, names weren't fixed, do something impressive or catastrophically dumb, and bam, instant rebrand. Fall in love? You're fire sitter. Kill your first elk? Elk tamer. Fart during a sacred ritual? Windmaker. Sometimes you earned your name. Sometimes your name earned you trauma. And yes, name envy was real. Your band meets another group. They've got a guy called Skyfinder. Instant awe, poetic, cosmic. Now your tribe suddenly wants in on that aesthetic. Next baby, cloud seer, then bird watcher. Congratulations, you've started a naming trend. Because even in the Paleolithic era, one charismatic traveler with a cool name could launch an entire tribal rebrand. Names carried weight, inside the tribe and beyond. They signaled alliances, status, trade potential. A good name could open doors, or at least earn you a spot by the warm fire and not the smoky one that smells like wet badger. Now imagine being a kid in that world, cold, brutal, and suspiciously full of pointy things. Your name is Storm Endurer or Fox Quick. That's not a nickname, that's a destiny. Names weren't decorations, they were assignments. identity with marching orders. If you were firekeeper, that flame didn't go out. Stick finger? You'd better bring premium sticks, not those crumbly ones. Each name was a mini-story, a purpose, something you dragged around like a personal subtitle. Eventually, we invented farms, then granaries, then paperwork, and along with them, surnames. Son of the hill, from the Axe clan. Fancier, more political, way less fun. But the soul of it stayed the same. We still name with meaning, with hope, with love disguised as syllables. We want names that say, we see you, and we already believe in who you might become. Even today, we pack names with ancestry, pop culture, myth, jokes, dreams. Sometimes it's Olivia, sometimes it's Daenerys. The instinct? Same. We want the name to matter. So the next time you meet someone named River or Jackson with 2 Y's, resist the eye roll. You're witnessing a tradition older than spelling, agriculture, and your unresolved credit score. Long before cake-cutting ceremonies or personalized diaper bags, humans gathered around firelight, trying to choose the first word someone would carry through the world. Fiddle Grove still ask, what will this name say about them? How will it echo? Will it stick? Names are our first stories. Sound-based cave paintings. Survival, compressed into syllables. One of the oldest, most sacred gifts humans give each other. So if someone mispronounces your name, mocks it, or claims it's not real, smiley. You could have been named Wasp Stung 3 times, and no one would have flinched. At least now we get vowels. Naming was never about trends, it's about belonging. It's how humans say, you're one of us, you matter, and we've already given you your first word. And if that word happens to be Moonblood Rock Smasher, well, they'll definitely remember you.